Okay, welcome everyone. I'm super excited about this meeting. I've been so much looking forward to this, and we have the pleasure and honor to have Cheryl with us today. So welcome. Thank you, Cheryl, for joining us today. She's going to be the brains behind this operation. So let me just quickly give you a few minutes of introduction of what we're trying to do. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we want to position ourselves for the next 2 to 3 years. So there's going to be a huge demand for great deals, and not only that, but there's going to be a tsunami wave of distressed owners next year because forbearance program is going to be over next March. There's once the courts open up, there's already a huge backlog of foreclosure filings. So as you can imagine, there's going to be tremendous opportunities for real estate investors. And guess what? Where the problem is? The problem is that investors are not able to identify great deals. And not only that, even if they have the leads, they're not able to get them on the contract. So there's a huge need for people like Cheryl who can get properties on the contract very, very fast. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to build an internal wholesaling team within ChicagoDealVault, and it's going to be led by Cheryl. Okay, now what we're trying to do is wholesaling has a lot of moving pieces. Okay, so what we're trying to do is DealVault is going to put together the infrastructure to make things very easy for you. And we just want you to become a sniper. So we want to make sure that you're good at only one thing, and that thing is talking to sellers and getting properties on the contract. That's all you need to become really good at with the support and help from Cheryl. Okay, we're going to take care of the CRM, the leads, and we're going to talk about all the things that we're going to put together. So having said that, let me just quickly show you what we are trying to put together as far as the infrastructure. Okay, let me share my screen really quick. Okay, so deal makers, snipers. So this is what we're putting together on the back end. So we're going to give free training, free seller scripts, free contracts, free CRM with an automated nurture campaign. Okay, so all the seller leads that we get, we're going to put them in an automated campaign. Okay, so that we don't ever miss a single lead. Free off-market leads. So we're going to start with high equity, but we're going to be looking for not only high equity, but also motivated, right? Motivated seller leads. That's what we're going to be looking on the back end. Then we're going to do a 50-50 split commission. So if the wholesale fee for a property that we get on the contract is, let's say, $5,000 or $10,000, you get to keep 50%. DealVault is going to keep another percent to be further split with Cheryl, because Cheryl is going to be the brains behind this operation. And then something that is going to be very important, ChicagoDealVault is going to take on the disposition task. What it means is we are going to be moving the contract or doing the assignment to an investor or a cash buyer. Okay, so we're going to use our network. We're going to use our cash buyers to move the contract and pretty much sell it as soon as we get it on the contract. Okay, so your role as a sniper would be to get the property on the contract. And then obviously we're going to give you free access to our internal preferred partners. Not only that, but you're going to be able to hang your license with ChicagoDealVault. Okay, ChicagoDealVault works under the umbrella of Home First Realty, and in fact this is the first time we're doing this right now as we speak. Only I'm a managing broker. My wife Frida has her license with me, and then Cheryl just hung her license with us. So we're going to apply all the resources that we can possibly have to make this a successful team. Okay, so having said that, I open up the floor for Cheryl. Okay, so Cheryl, thank you for joining today, and the floor is yours. So we have 21 people. Okay, uh, you've been selected as the first few to have access to this program. Okay, eventually, obviously, if this becomes very successful, it's going to grow exponentially. But you've been selected as the first few. So Cheryl, thank you very much for joining. It's a pleasure to have you. If you could please introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then you can run the show to get to know the rest of the team.
Awesome. Well, nice to meet you all. Thank you for the introduction, Hugo. My name is Cheryl Stewart. I know it looks like Sturt, but believe it or not, it's pronounced Stewart, or so my husband says. I have been wholesaling and in real estate for just over 10 years. I've done hundreds upon hundreds of houses. I hold plenty of rentals, and I like to consider myself one of the most creative financing people out there, as well as one of the top wholesalers in the area. So whether we've had good times, bad times, we're in a very unique time between COVID and, like Hugo had mentioned, the upcoming forbearance and foreclosures. Wholesaling is always there, but there are some times that are easier than others. But we've been successful in all of the markets, and I've worked on my own as well as with various people. I'd love to say I encountered almost everything, but as you know, as soon as you say that, we get something new and exciting. As Hugo said, my newest and most exciting thing is that due to some of the law changes here in Illinois, I have been without a license the whole time, but due to the law changes, I have just successfully completed my real estate exam and licensing, and within really days, now Hugo is holding my license as you need a sponsored broker. So thank you for that. So there's one more area of opportunity where we have solutions for our sellers, and they're going to need creative opportunities coming forward. As far as today goes, as Hugo said, our main goal is to create a team of people who can go out and get these leads under contract. Most investors right now, and maybe some of you yourselves, are starving for deals and struggling to find the high equity deals or the motivated sellers. And ChicagoDealVault has a great opportunity there with a lot of information and the leads handed to you. There's more people than I anticipated on this call, which I'm excited about. I would have loved to have the opportunity to go through and meet each of you and kind of see where you're all at and what you're doing, so that I don't bore you with detail. But if there's any of you that are willing to speak up for a minute, just so I can see who is on the call, what kind of level, if we have mostly newer people or experienced people, or what your challenge is, so that we can kind of focus in that direction. Is there anybody brave that wants to unmute and say hello?
Hi, this is Hidea. Me and my sisters are partners. We're very new to the whole investing, so I'm actually excited about this to learn wholesaling and stuff. I do have my real estate license. I just got it recently. But I'm more interested in investing than real estate, to be honest.
Agreed. So when you say more interested in investing, do you mean like buying and holding for yourself?
Well, I want to start with wholesaling first, because I need the equity, and then move on to like rental properties and stuff like that later.
Okay. I started wholesaling. You guys, I'm sure, will end up hearing about my first deal. It's quite entertaining. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else brave enough to say hello?
Hello, I'm Marjorie. I still don't know how to work this Go Meet thing to show my face, so I'm still working that out. But I've been I'm new in terms of getting involved with this, and originally I wanted to do wholesaling, so I'm really excited that Hugo has this opportunity. So I just wanted to Shout out to Hugo, and thank you so much for doing this. I'm really excited.
Okay, so far 2 for 2, and we're new. Is that are we just lucky that those are the first ones?
Make it 3.
Make it 3.
Yes, my name is Neelima. I am also new. Initially, one of my friends, very good friends, Vishal, had introduced me to Hugo, and I've been following his classes. My interest is in buy and hold. However, listening to Hugo talk, I'm kind of leaning in towards wholesaling as well. So I'm here to understand what it takes and what is that we need to do to get prepared for those awesome deals. And I have no license either.
Okay. You don't have to have a license. Like I said, I've been an investor for 10 plus years without a license. The new laws are if you are wholesaling and you do more than 2 in any given 12 months, then it is considered a license activity and you can be fined. So if you're not doing that many or you're buying them for yourself, you're safe. If you're intending on doing more than that, then you need a license.
Got it. Thank you.
All of us on our phones ringing. Is there anybody that's not newer? Which is fine. I don't care what the answer is. I just want to make sure that I gear it. If everybody's new, then we're starting right at the beginning.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name is David. I've been a real estate broker for about 10 or 15 years now. I just recently started hearing about wholesaling, and when I was on the call last night and Hugo offered to provide additional information regarding wholesaling, I said, hey, I want to get more interested in wholesaling to actually conduct transactions.
So you're new to wholesaling, not real estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. So with you, David, we might have some mind shaping. Basically, we have to change your mindset on how it works a little bit.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Anybody else? And it's okay, but if not, I'm assuming you're all new.
Cheryl, can you elaborate when you get opportunity on the license required? Because I'm licensed, but obviously with the wholesaling, it's kind of new to Illinois and licensing. How does that work with the broker? Is that totally separate? If you kind of elaborate on that.
If you have a license, that's all you need. And I can definitely explain why they did it. I have a couple of reasons that I believe, but as long as you're licensed, you're completely safe. You have no issue.
Okay, great. Does my managing broker get involved with those deals or no?
It depends how you handle that. So that's something we'll have to talk differently and how your broker wants to do that.
Thank you.
Valerie, you were saying hi.
Yeah, hi, Cheryl. And I wanted to thank Hugo for following through with the email that I sent yesterday. So thank you very much, Hugo. Appreciate it very much. Cheryl, yeah, hi. I am actually not new, and I've been involved in real estate for some time. I've been a private money lender to local investors over the last 5 years, and I'm still a private money lender. I am very familiar with wholesaling, and I have not done a wholesale deal, however. And I'm also familiar with rehabbing. Because of Hugo's platform and the platform here, I'm becoming much more familiar with buy and hold and the rental aspect of things. But my goal is to wholesale full-time and a really strong wholesale push, not 1 or 2 deals a year, 1 or 2 deals a month or more. That's my goal. And then eventually work it into a buy and hold rental portfolio.
Cool. That's a good plan. I like it. So when you say you're familiar with wholesaling, you haven't done it, but it sounds like if you've been lending, maybe you lent on a deal that was wholesaled from somebody.
No, not in particular. I did not lend on a deal that was wholesaled. I lent to people that were doing large rehabs locally in various markets in Chicago. Most of them were urban markets. Some of the projects were over $1 million, and I was one of many lenders in most of the projects.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't fun because I should have been in first position rather than second or third. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
for me, I am familiar with wholesaling through my knowledge of and connection with other real estate groups. Let's just say that.
But so you have a lot of good real estate experience, but even with you and David, so far I'm still seeing that everybody is brand new and fresh to wholesaling, to doing it themselves, correct? Anybody ever wholesaled or met with a private seller? I feel so lonely. All I see is Hugo.
Okay, I'm going to say no, I haven't. But you know what? I feel somewhat confident in my ability to be able to do that. But what I'd like now is instruction on how everyone's tweaking this with the new COVID situation. And, you know, almost, even though we live here in this market, if you approach wholesaling now because of COVID from a virtual wholesaling standpoint, you're almost wrapping the virtual concept around the local concept due to COVID. So maybe somebody could give some insights on that.
I wholesale nationwide.
Good. Perfect.
So,
Okay.
and COVID honestly hasn't changed too much what I do. If anything, it's probably increased it because more people are willing to work virtually, you know, whereas before it's like they definitely want you to come out and visit and check things out and meet you. Now it's like Zoom is like an everyday thing anyway, right? So
Right.
they can Zoom or send you pictures or videos, and I believe people are involved that way. So that's cool. That's worked in our favor.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you are wholesaling virtually and throughout the country. That that's a big bonus to whatever.
I even I hold properties nationwide as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to take any more airtime, but thanks, and I'm looking forward to working with you and this team. I have great feelings about everything that Hugo's put together here. Truly.
Hey, I'm here for you, so don't worry.
Thanks.
I think I saw Julian's microphone come off. I'm just, like I said, I'm feeling a little lonely. You know, you guys can all show your faces.
So
Hi.
I wish I could figure that out. Give me a moment.
There should be a little camera thing that looks like the video camera. Say, hey, thanks, Julian. See?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Hugo. Hi, Cheryl. So I did one wholesale deal. I've been going to Hugo's Chicago DealVault meetings for about a year. I have done one wholesale deal in Kankakee. The end buyer knew what I was doing. There was a language barrier there. That's the reason I was brought in because I speak Spanish. So the wholesaler actually didn't speak Spanish, so he brought me in. I met him actually through I believe one of the networking events, Hugo, that we might have had up and down, some of the places we've been at. Hugo gets us all over the city with, showing us houses and stuff like that. Anyway, I built a network of, some folks, and they called me and they said, "Hey, you speak Spanish?" I said, "Yeah." Anyway, the deal was done in Kankakee, and I made it, made okay, and then that was like maybe around April, maybe May sometime. But yeah, that's my only wholesale deal I've done so far.
Okay, so you co-wholesaled? Did you find the deal, or you just translated?
I basically translated. Everything was already intact. I mean, the deal took about maybe a month and a half or 2 months to try to get everything going because I guess that's when COVID was like at its peak, and it was a little frustrating that I had to keep calling the fidelity title time and time again, but in the end it was all worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
once you get one done, you tend to get the bug, and then you gotta keep going.
Right.
Kind of addicting. On my first wholesale deal, I had never done real estate. I was brand new and kind of jumped in altogether, and it was an experience. I wholesaled my first one, and then 2 weeks later, I closed on 3 in a week. So my first one, I cleared about $8,000, and then so a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I cleared $20,000 from the other 3. And then I was completely addicted. So welcome to my world. Come join the fun. And then doing things with, commercially or virtually or other things, and then buying and holding and becoming creative just adds to the excitement. So thank you guys I'm starting to see some people. It makes me feel a little better versus talking to not knowing if people are there. So unless there's somebody else that wants to share it's a Cheryl. Gotta love Cheryl. She even spelled her name right. That's a really weird noise, Hugo. Is that on her side, or are you hearing that? Playing with Cheryl's? All right, why don't we get started? I'm going to assume that, while some people, it sounds like you guys are all familiar with wholesaling, which is good. But it sounds like for the most part, we're newer and trying to get the process going. So like Hugo said, he's got a great infrastructure with ChicagoDealVault, a lot of the information already there, certainly a lot more and way better organized than anything I had when I got started. I had pen and paper, mailed postcards, drove for dollars, all sorts of things, and I had to sit there and go to the county and look things up. They weren't even online. I almost feel like I'm dating myself, like, from when dinosaurs roamed the earth, but I'm just telling you that's how these things went. Whereas now with ChicagoDealVault, you have a click of the button and you've got all the information there. And you can find people's emails and cell phones and send them a text, and you have whether or not they have equity or not. So you guys are in a way better position for information than when I got started. The two main aspects I would say with starting wholesaling and starting, again, our goal is to get things under contract. That's all we have to do is go out and convert leads, right, is what we're calling them. So the main thing is going to be between marketing and meeting with sellers. And Hugo's done a lot of the marketing for you or the information. And, in my opinion, I wouldn't stick with just that. For people that want to build a business of it, you will need to do some things on your own. Okay, he's got some great infrastructure there, and there's things you can do. But we used to always say that the flip is in the follow-up, right? So there's someone that I'm getting a contract on a property in Morton Grove, and I think I first talked to this woman. She called off a bandit sign back in May. So she called me, right? And then I've been following up and following up and following up. And who do you think, when she decides she's ready to sell, who do you think is going to get the deal? I mean, is there any other person out there constantly reaching out? So I want you to know, while you will hear stories of myself and many others that, hey, it's easy. All you got to do, pick up the phone, or, you get a call and you can have a one call close, and that does happen. It happens often. But there's a lot of them that take a lot of time and a lot of follow-up. So you want to make sure that having a system in place, whether it's for marketing or keeping track and following up, and for those of you that are not as software oriented, there's nothing wrong with using a tickler file, right? Like I still have those too. where, because I'm driving all the time and I can't be on the computer, you can carry like one of those recipe boxes with note cards and dates, and that's how I'll sometimes make my calls. I'm not quite as cool as Hugo there, sorry. But there's any way that you want to do it, but the main thing is going to be the number of people that you reach out to, because it is a numbers game. No questions asked. All right. But here in Chicagoland, you have 1 million houses. So well, way more than 1 million houses, but you have a ton that you can do. And it's going to be about your strategy of either marketing to them, reaching out to them, following up with them, and then what you do when you're with them. Today, I think we're going to focus on meeting with the person, whether by phone or by Zoom or in their house, because there's so many marketing techniques, and I believe I'm under the impression that we're given leads in DealVault, or you have access to leads in DealVault or houses that you can evaluate, and you can reach out to the seller. Is that correct, Hugo?
That's correct, Cheryl. And I'll share that in just a second once you finish.
Okay.
I'll show that.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure. So, once you're calling those people, and we can go through, how phone calls work or whatever. Hugo had some great scripts that he shared with me. Those are all good. We can enhance them, change them. You guys want to go with them as a guideline, and I always say that there's a script, and then there's the Cheryl way, right? So you got to take and you got to put your personality on it. I look at this as I described to Hugo. I look at reaching out to these people like dating. And I'm not from this world of Tinder, so I don't know how it works, swiping left, swiping right, or whatever. I hear about that. But this is what it's about. You're reaching out to a whole bunch of people, and then there's going to be a certain number of people that you're going to connect with, and you're going to have longer relationships, and then there's ones that you're going to marry as in get under contract and move forward with, right? So what we're going to do is talk about how we're going to build rapport with these people to get them from, hey, I want to buy your house, to getting it under contract. And like I said, you'll probably hear me refer to it as dating a lot, because that's really what I think it is. And I think the number one thing that people miss as being, especially a new wholesaler, is just not giving the person a chance to talk. Do you know our number one way of building rapport is listening? You probably heard God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Isn't that convenient, right? It's because we're meant to listen. I don't know if you guys have ever been with someone and they just let you talk, like you're a really good listener, and then they think, you think that they're the most interesting person in the world, but really they said nothing. You got to realize the people that you're talking to are always under what's in it for them, right? And you have to be in that mindset, not what's in it for me, but what's in it for them, okay? And what I mean by that is go in with the intention to help. These people have a problem, and you need to be a problem solver. It is not, I want to buy your house and I want to make money. If you go in with that attitude, you will get 1 or 2, but I'm telling you, you will lose every time. These people need help. They are embarrassed. They are uncomfortable. They're in denial, and some of them, by the time you get to them and they're considered motivated, they're in dire need of your assistance. So you got to make them feel comfortable, and it's going to be all about building rapport. So the first thing is really just listen. I go into every call, or how can I help you? What is it that you need? Right? It's not, I want to buy your house and how many bedrooms and bathrooms. If you guys think about it, on any big purchase you made, and I don't know about a house, that can be a little different, but if you think about a car, and nowadays I know we look online, but again, I'm old, so I used to go to the dealerships, right? But if you go to buy a car, you can get pretty much the same car in every dealership you go to, right? One's going to have a little of this or a little of that, and it's going to be the same amount. right? Or if you go to trade yours in, you're going to be a couple $100 off on a cheap car or a couple $1,000 off on an expensive car. And at the end of it, you're going to buy from the person that you like, right? And that's what these people are going to do. So you got to go into it saying, all right, first of all, how can I help you? I want to help you. I want to be here for you. Because they got two decisions to make in this, right? One is, are they really going to sell their house if and when? Because realize just because they say they're motivated does not always mean they're motivated. And it's not yet, which is again where that marketing, that follow-up is going to come. Okay. So decision one is, am I going to sell my house? And if and when I'm going to sell my house. And then two, and the way to get it under contract is, how do I make them sell their house to me, right? Because I'm the one that wants it. Whether I want to get it under contract to wholesale it, whether I want to get it under contract to fix and sell it, fix and rent it, whatever the reason is, I need them to make that decision to work with me, right? So I need to get it under contract. So that's where I'm saying, like, it's got to be, how can I help you? And if you walk in with that mindset, trust me, you'll win every time. There's nobody else out there that does that. I am here to help you. And then sit there and listen. What is it that they want? What is it that we need, right? So think about this. There's a ton of you on here, and you've all had some experience understanding wholesaling and stuff. What kinds of questions, what do you think you want to know? What do you think, if you were asking a seller, what do you think would be to build rapport, or that you think you would need? Who's got any ideas? Hey guys, I don't like to talk to myself. You got to help me out.
Hi, this is Valerie. I'm not going to bring my camera up. It's just a choice that I make. However, I do have a couple of ideas, good things to talk about with the seller. You know, initially you want to establish rapport, talking about things like if you're in their home, you might want to talk about things that you see, like a picture on the wall, just to help to establish rapport and commonality. It's really good to try to connect with the seller, and yes, let them know that you're here to help them, but also try to connect with commonality so that they feel connected to you. Once you start getting to the nuts and bolts, are you interested in those kinds of questions right now, or do you want me to just kind of...
Any of the above, but I think you're right on the right track. Is connection is the number one thing to building rapport. I tend to do it if they have animals. I'm a huge animal person, so I connect right away. So in your scenario, if I saw a picture, either if I was in person and saw a dog or a cat or something unique of an animal, I'd be all over. You're right. That is the number one way, is to find a connection. You're definitely going to want to know the bedrooms and bathrooms, but everybody's going to ask that. So this is about making that connection.
Also, if when you're talking with the people, if you're there, you definitely want to be careful on how you talk about their house. You want to be, you don't want to make them feel like the house is a real trash pit if it is. You just kind of, and, oh, okay, you might be taking notes, but you wouldn't be insulting them, because insulting is really not a way to establish rapport. So it's very important in how you present yourself as you're looking at the physical property. Or if you're gathering information on the phone and you're asking questions, the kinds of questions that you need, the hard data that you need, same thing. Don't go, oh my gosh. Don't have those aghast kind of comments. So that's my 2 cents worth.
For sure. That's very good. It might even be 4 cents. So great way to make connections, things. And like you said, it's even harder if you're in their house. It's like you said, you can see things. On the phone, it's a little bit harder there. And then, yes, you definitely in their home. And I'm one of those that I will not lie. I mean, I can find something nice, I think, just about anything. I won't lie. I dance around things if I have to. So don't ever ask me if your butt looks big in these pants. If you don't want the answer, I will tell you if you ask me. So you definitely don't want to disrespectful and say, oh my God, this place is awful. What the heck did you do? It's, when's the last time did you modernize? When's the last time that you replaced something? So definitely a good way to go. Marjorie, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say it's just really important as well to be authentic. That you have to really convey, I would think, a warmth and an authenticity, if I can get that word out. But yeah, definitely being authentic and I would think warm and with some energy and being an expert. I would think that you'd have to have credibility.
Absolutely. I think credibility is huge, which is why I don't lie. There's so many wholesalers out there that sometimes they make it easy for me, right? The things that they say and do. So definitely don't lie. Being authentic, people can see through it, and they're desperate sometimes, and you definitely don't want to take advantage. It's sad there are people that will do that, and desperate people can make bad decisions. So that's why, like I said, you want to be there to help, and they'll know it. And then that is exactly being authentic and credible. And the number of deals that I've gotten because I helped someone, and it was exactly as you said, like authentic, credible, because I'm very straightforward, as I'm sure you can already tell, but a little high energy too. But the number of times that somebody will then refer me, and then I don't have to do any marketing, I don't have to do any cold calling, just because I took good care of them, that will build your business quickly. And I'm sure David knows as an agent, if you do a good job for someone, you're going to get the referral. And those are always easier, and you always make more money because then they don't even look anywhere else, right? And that's what I was saying. There's that two decisions, one to sell the house and one to use me. It's like your airlines, right? You have a million airlines you can choose. Why to use the one? Sometimes it's price, but if it's pretty close, you're going to choose the one that's more convenient to your schedule, or you like better, or you have more airline miles. They have the same choices. If they call off a sign, you don't think mine's the only sign they're calling off of, right? And if you guys have seen those signs, they're yellow with hot pink writing that say Cheryl buys houses. Anybody see those? I'm Cheryl. What else? Anyone else? Good things for building rapport with people to connect. You guys are a shy bunch. So Valerie and Marjorie started off really strong, because that's exactly
I think I have something. Oh, hi. So you're talking about building rapport, right? So something that I've done in my experience with talking to sellers is telling them, I mean, that not everyone can relate to this, but like my family had gone through a foreclosure in the past, so I just talk about my experience and like how hard it was and stuff like that, and that usually opens people up, commonality, I think someone said before.
Yep. You've been there, you've done that. My house is completely underwater. I tell people about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny, not for me, but whatever. So it's nice so that, Josh, I would probably consider as being vulnerable. So people will connect on vulnerability when you're in the same scenario. So that's awesome. See, thanks for sharing. Look at that. You just pulled everybody on this call. So, but you said in talking to sellers, Josh, so have you wholesaled, or have you done something else where you're talking to private sellers?
So if we're talking, maybe I don't understand what we mean by sellers. I'm talking about people who are like people living in the house. It's going to be foreclosed or going through the process. Is that the same kind of person we're talking about?
They still technically own the house until the bank does, right? Are you trying, when you talk to them, why are you
Yeah.
talking?
I mean, let's go knock on the door. This was before COVID. I would go there with my dad, and we would just kind of talk to them about it because we know, both he and I have that experience going through the foreclosure. And that's, I don't know, that's that
But
answer
when
your
you when you knocked on the door and you were
Yeah.
talking to the seller, what was your purpose? Is it to buy the house for you to rehab?
It was to get it under contract and to either wholesale or make it a rental.
Okay, have you done it before?
I have, like, no, not really. I've kind of, but not really. My dad does it, and I just have experience with him, but I've never actually like gone out on my own and done it.
Okay, but with
Yeah.
your you were with him when he got any under contract or was able to do something with it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Some good experience. Cheryl, I heard you popping up. I saw your green light go on. I don't think your microphone likes us. That's sad. Cheryl, I think yours makes a lot of noise. I think you're gonna have to mute. I think you have a microphone issue, sadly. Sorry. I think Hugo likes to mute me. Is that a sign I'm talking too much? I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. So now we can hear you well.
Awesome. All right. Sorry, Cheryl. All right. So you guys are getting the exact point. I mean, it's all about building rapport. I can't tell you how many times that I've sat with somebody on the phone and I was there an hour. I was at one place for like 3 hours. I kid you not. And then, I mean, maybe 10 minutes was on the house, between a tour of seeing the house and, talking about, I mean, obviously when you're there, you can see bedrooms and bathrooms, but whether they have a mortgage or, what they're trying to accomplish, like really like 10 minutes relative to the hour or 3 hours that I've spent there. That's how important it is. You can't expect every single one to be, like I said, that one call close. They come and they're fabulous, and makes it easy. But many of these people that I've either wholesaled their house or at least purchased their house and rehabbed it, or I do other things with like lease options and taking houses subject to the mortgage. And I'll even bring people in, on like a rent to own, or people that can't qualify for their own mortgages. And like I said, I do all sorts of things. And these people are, I hesitate to call them friends, but that's what they feel like. And I can call on them for favors. And it's all because, I'm in there to help, and I build a lot of rapport, because if it comes to a house, they shouldn't think of anybody other than me. And again, that's where your system, and that's where Hugo comes in for Chicago Deal Vault. Your system is going to be key for getting those leads, and then making sure that you're following up or doing your other marketing to them, because I can't guarantee that you're going to get them on the phone. And once you get them on the phone, and they're just going to be like, hey, I'm ready to sell you my house. So that's a big thing. After you're building rapport with them, and you've had to build some value on yourself, right? Now you need to know some stuff about the house, right? But the good news is you already have a relationship with them. Now they're willing to open up. Whereas if you come in and go, oh, tell me about the house, it's, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,500 square feet, you're no different from anybody else. You do need to get the basics, right? You do need to have that information. What other information do we want? What else is going to be important? So some of the questions I like to ask have nothing to do with price. You guys should see how many conversations I have with people where we don't even talk about the numbers on the house. Actually, I was with Hugo not too long ago, and we didn't talk about numbers. We were there an hour plus, and then we had several other conversations before we talked about numbers. So what other things do you need to know? We need to figure out what their problem is, right? I said we need to be problem solvers. So you can go the route that, hey, if I could wave a magic wand, and make this problem go away, what is your number one problem? You can go that route. It's not my favorite, but it certainly works. Most of these people are going to be either time or money or a combination, but something's gonna have to break. I will ask them, and I saw it on one of Dan's scripts. I asked them, what is your plan? Have you considered using an agent? Have you considered listing a property? You'd be surprised what people will tell you. And if you listen, and it's not just at their words, sometimes what they say isn't exactly what they mean. So they'll say, yeah, I don't want to sell with an agent. Okay, well, there's something most likely they're embarrassed of. Sometimes you got to find out why, right? Like right now, it could be with COVID. They don't want people in their house. The number of houses that I've acquired that they were hoarders, and they don't let anybody in. That they have mean dogs. There's 100 different reasons. They don't want to clean up. The agent told them that they need to fix stuff, right? These are all different issues. The fixing one's big, and I hesitate when I know there's agents on the phone, and now I'm an agent too, right? Like I hesitate, but most agents are your worst nightmare for a seller that's troubled. Sorry, David. The reason I say that is because these people already have financial issues, and the agents want the highest commission for themselves, right? And so when we talk about licensing law, and you don't need one for wholesalers, but I can divert for a second. The agent is supposed to put the seller's concerns over and above everyone else's, including their own, okay? And most wholesalers, agents, or anyone don't. But in this case, the agents often want the sellers to take money out of their own pocket to fix the house, right? They want it painted, they want it upgraded, they want repairs resolved. They need all these things done because they want to get the highest price. Well, why do they want the highest price? Because that's how they get paid the most commission. And the challenge is, and it won't be tonight, but we can go through how all those numbers work. The highest number does not mean that the seller gets the highest profit. And it's really a whole education discussion on price to the seller to be able to do that. So agents are kind of your worst nightmare because they put these high numbers in these sellers' heads and they want them to fix things. If somebody doesn't have the money to fix things, and they don't want people coming in and out of their house, then they definitely have to go the investor route, which is going to be great for you. So you need to play detective and find what problem that you're solving, right? Is it a money issue that they don't have money to put in? Is it that they don't want people in their home? Is it a time constraint that, like Hugo said, the forbearance loans are coming due soon, and most people, if they couldn't pay them before, most of them aren't going to be able to pay them when they come due. Is it that their house is coming up for auction? How are you going to find these out? So it's going to be, what problems do they have? How can we solve them? And also we have to consider, what are their options on the way out? What kind of options do these people have? If they're strapped for time, right? They don't have time to let it sit on the market, right? If they're trapped if they have money issues, like maybe their mortgage is too high and they're not going to clear anything. They can't let it sit on the market. They can't afford their monthly payment. Some of them are in a divorce. Some of them have a probate issue. They have to close the estate. There's a million different reasons. But now that you have rapport, you're going to have to find ways to uncover these, as well as the basics, right? The basics being bedrooms, bathrooms, figuring out the square footage. You hear me talk about what's left on your mortgage, right? And I'm sure, you know, David probably does a good job of this, or any others of you that are licensees, knowing those basics. I like to talk about numbers with what people, I work completely backwards. And again, we could have a whole long call on numbers. But what is it they're looking to get out of the property? You know, what do they think they're going to walk away with, regardless of how it's sold? Because isn't it more important what they put in their pocket than what the house actually sells for? I mean, does it really matter what it sells for? Especially in today's market with all the fees that come off in Illinois. And Valerie, that's where we like, you know, like you said, virtual, because Illinois and closing costs and agent fees suck. But that's a different ball game. I digress, as Hugo smiles at me. Thanks for holding my license. So these are the things that you're gonna have to get under control before you're able to get it under contract. Let me tell you about my first deal, so you guys can see. So this is, you know, I laugh because I'm really experienced now, right? I have 10 plus years, like I said, hundreds of deals, you know, millions of dollars of real estate. And I think I did this better when I was new. So why is that, you ask, right? Because that's really strange. Why would somebody with all this experience say, hey, I did a better job when I was new? The reason is, it's like being a child in learning. We're more open, right? We take more risks because we don't know any better. So the number one thing I want you to take away from tonight is take action, right? Go out there and do it. Bang your head against the wall. Talk to as many sellers as you can. You know, if you talk to a seller a day, there's no way that you can't have multiple contracts a month, especially with Hugo's system. But on my first deal, it was one that I drove for dollars, and I mailed postcards, and they called me, and it was an investor that had bought a house at auction, at a foreclosure auction, and they sat on it for like 18 months. They thought it was going to be their first deal that they were going to fix and they were going to sell. And I think they bought it for like $11,000. And honestly, I had no idea what questions to ask, nothing to do. And this was the epitome of the one call, close, and meet. And sometimes I think the innocence works. So this house was in North Chicago, and you always remember the address of your first one. It's the cutest little house on the corner on 20th Street, 1619 if you want to look it up in North Chicago. And I think, so they bought it for 11, and looking back, I would not have gotten this under contract for any more than $25,000, okay? Keep that in mind. $25,000 is where I should have been. So what I did was I had asked them, you know, some basic questions going, so have you had offers on the house? And they're like, well, yeah, you know, we had somebody offer, you know, 38, but they wanted seller financing and we didn't want to deal with that. We just want to get rid of it. We had somebody that offered like 41, and I was blown away with these numbers. I had no idea what it meant. And just so you guys know, I was broke. I didn't have a dollar to my name. And that's why I had to drive and send postcards. I mean, and I think I sent like 40. And I hand wrote them, I'll have you know, the entire thing. So then I said, okay, well, the most I could do was give you 35. I'm like, because, you know, I need some room to make money. And I am very honest, you guys. I will tell them that I'm wholesaling, not in so many words. You know, I don't just go, hey, I'm wholesaling your house. But I do tell them straight out, pretty much, it is one of the options that I consider when I buy a house. And so we're sitting there on the floor of this dingy house, And I start filling out this contract that I have no idea how to fill out. And so I put that I'm buying this house for $35,000, and I wrote the word cash. And I almost fell over going like, I don't have a dollar in my name. How does this woman think that I'm going to buy this house for $35,000 cash? But whatever, I'm just going with it. Then it had the earnest money spot. And I said, oh crap, I forgot to bring money with me. And I mean, truth be told, I didn't have the money, but whatever. So I looked at her and I go, hey, do you have a dollar? And she's like, sure. So she goes in her purse, she grabs a dollar, hands me the dollar. I write $1 for earnest money and hand it back. I go, there you go. So here, I don't have a dollar to my name. I have to borrow it from my seller, but I'm going to pay $35,000 on this contract. So then we write up the rest of the contract and we're going through it. And one of the lines you guys know says that all they can keep, right, is the earnest money if I don't perform. So she looks at me and she goes, well, what happens if you don't perform? And I looked at her and I go, I've never not performed before. So you can get away with anything. She's like, all right, fair enough. So I wrote the contract for $35,000, gave her the dollar. I marketed it for less than 24 hours. I had 48 people come and check out that house. And I sold it. And like I said, I cleared $8,000 on that house. I signed the contract. I ended up having to double close because, like Julian said, you know, they didn't speak English very well, but they knew what was on the contract. The numbers were there. So I ended up double closing it with Fidelity, that you mentioned as well, for $43,000. So looking back, you guys got to realize that the numbers aren't everything. Because like I said, now I would have turned that deal away all day long. I wouldn't have given them more than 25. They probably wouldn't have given it to me for 25, and I would have lost a deal. So I'd say for now, especially for all you newbies, you don't want to get, what do they call it, paralysis by analysis? Just go out there and do it. Hugo gives you great information in these. You already know the numbers. I didn't. So you have it right there in your face. And even if it's a little higher, and forgive me for this, Hugo, but even if it's a little higher, I'd say write the contract. Get it under contract. Shop the contract. Right now, you're safe. Wholesaling, you have an out in the contract, number one. You can renegotiate with the seller. You have to be the one to get it under contract. And right now, people are spending what I call stupid money for deals. And Hugo's got a great group. Like he said, he's going to pass it along from a disposition perspective. So that'll be our issue on the other side. But I would say go out, make these calls, build rapport, get the information you need. We're here by your side. Get it under contract. And I really don't see how you can't make money accidentally at this point. And then hopefully you'll be better and, you know, get a lot of money and won't be dumb like me and turn deals away, right? Don't laugh, Hugo, it's true.
I love your story. Thank you for sharing it.
Right? It's silly, but and that's, I mean, but you got to have some confidence going into it. Even when you're brand new, it doesn't matter. You can still get it under contract. These people don't know what you're supposed to say. They don't know what you're supposed to do. And there's no one right way. There's no one wrong way. And that's why I say, you know, you guys have that script is great. There are good questions to ask. It's a great guideline. And then you got to make it your own. Like I said, I Cherylize it. So you make it your own personality. And it's all about building rapport with those people and helping them solve the problems. And, you know, and Hugo and I don't yet have this part set up, but if it's something you can't get under contract cheap for cash because maybe there's something we don't know, you can still pass them along. You might not be able to get it under contract, but pass it along and we can probably work out some sort of a referral thing for something to get it under contract a different way. once we get this all going, there's other ways to wholesale. It's not just buying cheap for cash and selling. I mean, I've wholesaled properties I've taken subject to the mortgage. I've wholesaled, financed properties, right? You can sell the notes. There's other things that we can do. But right now, he's giving you a ton that have a lot of equity. And so you should be able to get them all under contract cheap for cash is what I would say. Is that correct, Hugo? They're all high
absolutely, equity. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I can share that with you now, what we have prepared for all of you so that we can, as Cheryl said, just take action and do it now. It's not going to be perfect. It's impossible for you, all of it. So we just want you to become really good at what Cheryl just covered. Understand that you are a problem solver for them, empathize, and most importantly, listen, okay? Listen to what they have to say, what they want, when they want it, so that you provide that solution, if feasible, of course. So let me quickly share my screen. Go ahead.
Thank you, Hugo.
Okay.
Cheryl, how do you know what is a good price that we can offer? Since especially because we want to sign a contract, we want to get the confidence, and how do we know that this house is going to definitely sell for more than what you have offered them?
That's a good question, but see, that's where I'm telling you what you have that I didn't have, and that's Hugo has that the lead that shows what kind of equity we anticipate in there and where your maximum allowable offer is. Right? They get the whole thing, right, Hugo?
Absolutely. That's what I'm just about to share right now. You anticipated my presentation.
Hey, way to go. See, and then the other thing is, so he'll show you that, and my understanding is I'm to be here for you and Hugo's here for you. So if we have a certain deal that we're talking about, then we'll go for it. And that's why, it's a split.
Right. Absolutely. So let me quickly show you, also Oscar on the line, he was asking, how do you find out what the property is worth? So let me just show you what we've done. I'm going to share this screen with you. And actually, let me just show you ChicagoDealVault for a second. This is what all the DealVault members have access to, pre-foreclosures, right? And within pre-foreclosures, you can filter them by equity, just to identify the ones with high equity. So I can do that in a second. And then they still need to do more due diligence on the deal, right? So I can put up a property with a lot of equity. We're going to give them a few of the key numbers like ARV, potential rehab amounts, the most they should pay, and so forth. So they still need to do some of the work. But what we've done for you is a step up. So what we've done is we identify the ones that totally make sense, that have a lot of equity. And not only that, but we're going to give you the owner's contact information. We're going to give you a report that shows you both successful exit strategies for a flip and for a rental. It has comps, it's got all the details. So I'm going to show you an example. So for instance, I'm going to focus on the first property. So as you can see, we have 2 full-time people. That's all they do all day long. They look at the data that we already have. They find the great deals. They analyze them. They get the owner's contact information, and they put it in a very nice format. So look at this. This is December 1st. Today, they found 4 great leads. November 27, 3 great leads. November 26, 1, 2, 3, 4 great leads. So on a daily basis, I can scroll down. We're finding so many deals, so many actually leads. I'm going to call these leads, okay? Well, guess what? It ends right there. We're not taking action. That's where the snipers, that's where you come into the picture. We're going to give it to you in a silver platter. So you don't need to worry about, computing the ARV, how much to offer. Let me show you the first property. So this property, this is the address. So if I click on the contact information, it's going to give you, boom, the information about the owner, email addresses, cell phone numbers, and so forth. Now, if I click on the max allowed offer right here, I'm highlighting the column. It's 175. So that's the most you can offer to that owner. Yeah, let me make it bigger.
I got old eyes.
Yeah, no, let me make this bigger.
Thank you.
Great point. Thank you, Cheryl. So I'm going to make it really big.
There you go. It's much better.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to give you the contact information. That's just 4 great deal leads that we found today. So if I scroll to the right, you know, the max allowed offer, this is the most you should offer on this deal. And guess what? We are going to back it up. So if you click on the report, let me show you how cool this is. Okay. So we've done all the work for you. Let me make this a little bit bigger so that you can all see. So this report has a marketing sheet. So it tells you the ARV right here, what the ARV is, the most you should pay for the property right here. And this is the analysis for a flip, how much you're going to be, or the investor who buys the property is going to be making on the flip. So about 80,000. And then this is the analysis on the rental. So all the numbers that a private money lender, a hard money lender are just going to fund the deal for, okay? Not only that, but if you scroll down, we're gonna pull the comps for you already for that particular property. So let me scroll down, right there. So you're gonna see the comps. Not only that, but we're gonna put them side by side, just like the MLS does it. So we're doing all of this for you. If I scroll down, I show you the comps on a map. You know, the comps that we pull, you know, they're within a half a mile radius. Let me see if there's any further information. Yeah, right here, we're also gonna give you the foreclosure case information, which you may not need, but we're giving you everything that you need. Let me go back to the main report. And if you don't have an idea of Park Ridge, guess what? You can just click on this report and we are going to give you just an overview of Park Ridge. You know, what is all Park Ridge about? If you've never been there, you know, it's a great area, it's expensive, crime is low, schools are awesome. So we're gonna give you all the details, including household income information, population, so that when you meet the owner, you already have an idea of exactly what the area is about, what type of exit strategy the area supports, and the numbers, okay, on the property, how much you need to offer, how much the property is worth, pretty much everything on a silver platter for all of you. So we are doing all this work for you so that all you need to do is, boom, get on the phone or send them an email. Let me tell you, once you touch this owner, you get in touch with them, what we're gonna do is we will even put that lead, seller lead, into a funnel, into a nurturing campaign. So let me show you what that looks like. So it is right here. Let me pull that up.
That's, you guys have no idea. It's so huge. And even all this information, I've never had all this.
So let me show you what we've done, guys. I mean, this is, we call this the seller ignition template. So this is a campaign that lasts 381 days just of follow-up. So let me show you what it looks like. So step number one, it's an email. We already know what the subject is gonna be, the body of the email, right? And then the second email is gonna be on day 3. So we have the subject, the email, body, then we're gonna do an SMS. We're gonna send a text message on day 10 and so forth. So we have the SMS, we have an email on day 17. So imagine, we already have these in Infusionsoft. That is the CRM that we use for ChicagoDealVault. So we are gonna have all the seller leads that you touch put into this nurturing campaign, okay? So we will always be in touch with the seller lead that you touch. Does that make sense? So there's nothing like, oh, you know, I don't know when to touch base with them again. We will automate that, okay? So as Cheryl said, the success is on the follow-up, like the contract that she's signing in Morton Grove, right? She touched base, she's been in contact with the seller lead for the last 5-6 months, okay? That's where the success comes. Follow up. That is why we will also automate that, because when it comes to technology, we're gonna help you put that infrastructure together. Also, we're gonna give you, right here, we have a folder called Wholesaling. So it's divided into 2 folders. We have the scripts, so we have the seller scripts, okay? So this is an example of one of them, right? As Cheryl said earlier, so we have the script, but you have to put your personal touch, like the Cheryl touch or Kevin's touch or Jim's touch, your personal touch to the script. But at least we're giving you something to base on your conversation, just to begin with. And obviously you need to rehearse, you need to feel comfortable with it so you don't sound like a robot. That it's yourself, right? So we're giving you the scripts, and also we're giving you the contracts. So let me go back to the wholesaling contracts right here. So this folder will contain the contracts, the assignment contract, what you need to have the owner sign. Okay, it's a very simple contract that you need to have the owner sign. So we're giving you the scripts, the leads. I mean, this is extreme. This is mind-blowing to me. Let me just go back to these. Just the number of leads that we are finding. But the sad story is that nobody's doing anything about it. We don't have the resources, and that is the objective of this team. That is why, since we all are gonna have skin in the game, on our end, on the back end, we are going to put all our resources into this program. This project is by far the most important one for 2021 for ChicagoDealVault. So all the resources behind this program are gonna be there for you. So we wanna simplify your work. We wanna make sure that you focus on the activities that are going to make you money, and that is talking to owners, talking to listing agents, and making offers. That's where you're gonna be making money. And all of us are gonna be making money, right? Because right now we've done all this work, but it ends right there, right? So we need to, the missing piece of the puzzle is to get these leads on the contract. And that's where you come into the picture. So once we get a property on the contract, guess what? Let me show you. In ChicagoDealVault, we have cash buyers. Obviously, we have, let me show you, 70,000 cash buyers. We even have their, if I click on any one of them, check this out. We have their cell phone, email. So guess what? On the disposition, we're gonna do a blast SMS, a blast email to the cash buyers, that particular area where we have the property on the contract. Not only that, we're gonna do a blast email to our current network of investors, which is over 10,000. So the disposition, you don't have to worry about. We're gonna move the deal once you get it on the contract. So that's one less thing for you to worry about. We're gonna take care of the disposition, because if you think about your competition, a regular wholesaler, they need to worry about marketing. They need to worry about the leads. They need to worry about doing the due diligence on the property, like the ARV, the comps. You need to have a CRM. You have to have a nurturing campaign. Well, guess what? You don't have to worry about none of that stuff. We are going to provide the infrastructure. I want to make sure that you are good at one thing. And as Cheryl said, and I love the way she phrased this, we want you to become the best at dating. That's what it comes down to, right? You're going to be sort of like dating these owners, and hopefully you're going to be getting married to them, okay? When you get the property on the contract and we move that to an end buyer. And let me tell you, a byproduct of this program is that if you're part of this program, and let's assume that we get a great deal on the contract, right? But your objective is not only to do wholesales, but also to build a rental portfolio. And guess what? you are going to have a first-hand look at these great deals, okay? So what it means is, let's assume that we got a great property on the contract, and then you say, well, you know what? I really like this property. I want to keep it for myself. So you're going to have that option. So let's assume that if we were to wholesale that property for $10,000, you're just going to need to pay DealVault $5,000, right? The wholesaling fee is $10,000, your fee is $5,000, our fee is $5,000. So you pay us $5,000, and then you get to keep the property. Does that make sense? So the byproduct of this program is, if you want to build a rental portfolio, you're going to have a first-hand look at these deals, right? And the same applies, let's say, Cheryl. She says, oh, you know what? I really like this property. I want to keep it for my rent portfolio. By all means, right? She can do that. And the same for all of you. So the opportunities are great. And most importantly, Cheryl has a ton of experience, over 10 years doing over hundreds and hundreds of wholesale deals worth millions of dollars. So you guys are going to be in awesome hands. We'll provide the infrastructure. So far, how does this sound for everyone on the line? I mean, I'm impressed. Everyone, after over an hour and a half, have been on the line. Nobody has dropped. We have 25 people. So far, are you guys excited about this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is like a no-brainer, right?
That's a yes.
This
That's
is
a
like,
yes.
oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
So everything is going to be, go ahead. Any questions?
Yes.
Sounds
Yes,
great.
I
Very
agree.
excited.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Looks great.
And yeah, no, I'm super excited about this to get you involved. So we're going to share the leads, the spreadsheet that I share with you, the scripts, the contracts, so that, as Cheryl said, take action. I mean, just make a phone call. We're going to share that spreadsheet, and obviously, we need to figure out how we're going to, let's assume if, let's say Gene is going to take a property on Park Ridge, right? Like the one I show. How are we going to do the splitting of the leads? Cheryl, do you have anything in mind right now? Because
Sorry, what
we
was the
have
question?
already this spreadsheet that we. Oh, so the question is, let me share that is, screen again. So we have these leads. So how do you want to distribute the leads so that people can start taking action like this week?
So that's going to be on you, right? Because you have where everybody is or is looking to do. And here's the thing. I mean, real honestly, and everybody knows this, everybody's excited today, and I hope y'all stay and you're doing it. But the truth is that, I mean, I'm not sure you want to do any exclusivity. I don't want 20 of the same people, running over the same lead. But on the same token, some people are looking to, I mean, I heard somebody saying they want to have this as their right career, their main gig, full-time wholesaling. Other people are going to have less time and go after one or find it hard and drop off. So that's the thing, you got to be careful, like from an exclusivity perspective, and I don't know if you want to do it based on area or based on numbers of what people can handle. I like the one on Park Ridge.
Perfect. I mean, Cheryl has done a deal in Park Ridge. We went to see a lead in Park Ridge, her, myself, and Jim. So yeah, by all means, right? So we're going to share these with all of you today and tomorrow. So all the people on the line, I just want to make sure, if you're interested, please do send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com. If you want to move forward and become part of the team, please send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com. That's going to be important. So again, let me share what all we are doing for you, so that in case you have any questions, right? So we're going to do the free training, free seller scripts, free contracts, the CRM that you can leverage, the leads. The commission split is going to be 50-50. We are going to take care of the disposition, meaning moving the property, and then you're going to have access to our internal preferred partners. Not only that, but you're going to be able to hang your license with us, okay? Which is huge, right? So we're going to keep everything in-house, okay? So thank you, Phil, for sending the message. So are there any other questions? So if you're ready, the only thing that you need to have is an active membership with ChicagoDealVault, right? Because you're going to need to have access to the system. So you do need to have an active membership, whether it's a monthly, a yearly, it's up to you. That's all you're going to need to have access to, because off and on, you're going to need to look up some properties, or you're going to need to do something on your own. So we do want to make sure that you have access to DealVault. So an active membership is going to be the only requirement. But other than that, even if you're a newbie in wholesaling, that's okay. Okay, we want to make sure that you are successful, because we all have interest, skin in the game, in making this a very successful team, because the opportunities are going to be huge in the upcoming 12 to 24 months are going to be amazing. Okay, so we want to make sure we don't miss that wave. Okay, are there any other questions on the line?
I do have.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So what is the training going to look like? Do we have an idea what that's going to be like? If we're meeting once a week, or what is it going to look like?
Great point. So the training, we have to meet once a week, okay? Just to touch base to see what people have done during the week. So we're going to meet, if this works for Cheryl, I'm going to touch base with her. Let's assume next Tuesday for about an hour. We quickly touch base. We do like a stand-up meeting. Boom, 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 boom. Everyone says what they've done in the last 7 days, right? What progress they've made, any questions, and then we do the training. We jump into the training right away, okay? So that's sort of the scenario. Not only that, we're going to be recording the sessions, and we're going to be uploading them to our ChicagoDealVault phone app. So make sure you download that. Phil, can you please send instructions to the phone app? The phone app that we have developed contains a lot of training videos, but we're going to lock all the trainings from Cheryl are going to be locked. So on the back end, when you register on the app, we are going to, if you're part of the team, we're going to enable those videos. Other than that, the rest of the DealVault members are going to be excluded from this training. Okay, so this is very elite training that you guys are going to be getting. So we're going to make sure that we lock this training. If you miss a training, you're going to be able to watch the replay on your phone, on your device. So that's how you can download the ChicagoDealVault app. On Android, iPhone, we're going to be posting the replay. We're going to create a category for these on the phone app. You're going to see that. So you'll be able to catch up if you missed one of the trainings.
Okay.
But yeah, we're ready to move forward. We're ready to pull the trigger.
And if you guys have ideas, Hugo and I talked about, like I can potentially record some of, especially like the Zoom or whatever, some of the conversations that I have with sellers, when I have one come under contract, we can get that, or when we're scheduled a call, like the Morton Grove one, we scheduled a time to talk. I could have easily recorded that. That wasn't one from ChicagoDealVault. That was one, like I said, from a sign in May, but I'm willing to record it. If I can find one from ChicagoDealVault, I told Hugo I'm happy to go through the whole thing. But I'm here for you. There's certainly a lot of knowledge and a lot of energy that goes through me. So I'm happy to do what works for you guys. Everybody learns differently. I can do it like formal lecture trainings. We can do it where we're going through exact scenarios. Like even if when Hugo's saying that we go through like lists of what people are doing, we can go through each and every one of those deals, because everybody's going to benefit from those scenarios.
Okay, thank you.
It's whatever you guys want. We want to help you make money.
It's Julian again. I have a question.
Go ahead, Julian.
Yeah, so I recently moved to Indiana, Northwest Indiana, and I know the leads are not going to come from ChicagoVault. ChicagoDealVault is not going to have the leads from there. But I'm also doing a little bit of marketing on this side of town. Bring those up to the group as well if I have a contract.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Because we're going to help you with the disposition. So we have access to cash buyers nationwide. Not only that, but Cheryl currently does wholesaling nationwide. She owns rentals nationwide. So Indiana, actually, it's a great place right now to do real estate because people are moving there. Property taxes are low. It's a great area to do business. So Julian, you're in the right neighborhood. So we want to make sure that you bring the deals. We're going to help you, right? So we partner up with the top key players in the industry. So obviously we'll help you.
And some of those states like Indiana, you don't need an attorney. People are it's a lot more common that they'll work with investors, or a lot friendlier to deal with. Chicagoland market, I mean, I can't tell you how important that rapport building is. And I know it sounds kind of silly. And everyone's like, yeah, don't you just naturally do that? You have no idea. The Chicago market can be very competitive. You have to make yourself valuable. You have to stand out. And everyone here, and I noticed in the chat, and I'm sorry I didn't have mine open, but somebody mentioned trust is very important. People in Chicagoland don't like to trust. And the people they trust is their attorneys. And the attorneys, they don't do anything good for them. You know, the attorney's not going to buy the house. And attorneys kibosh a lot of deals. So Indiana's, you know, and again, those are things that we'll definitely want to go through. But Indiana is a great place because their closing costs are like a few $100s. You can close it in a day, and there's like no attorneys. It's so easy.
Yeah. So great question, Julian. Awesome. So please make sure that you send a request via email to make you part of the team, because we're going to put everything together, the training manual, everything for you. We're going to put you into the distribution list. You're going to have direct access to Cheryl. She was kind enough to share her cell phone. So we're going to make that available with you if you decide to become part of the team. And also, we are super excited just to get the ball rolling. And as Cheryl said, take action, right? Action trumps knowledge all day long, okay? And as Cheryl shared, her first deal obviously wasn't perfect, right? But
they spelled my name wrong on my first checks too, but they cashed them. So that's fine.
Awesome. So execution is going to trump knowledge. Go ahead.
I have a couple of questions. You said as a broker you could hang our license, but what if we're another broker? So we need to change brokerage, or how is that?
Switch. It's optional. You can keep your license with where you have it right now, or you can switch it over with us, okay? But we're going to give you all the support, okay? Just to make sure that this is a very successful team. So there's not going to be any roadblock standing on your way to become successful. That is why we're putting the training, the infrastructure, everything together for all of us to make money.
Okay, and then would you guys like help us like to show us like how to do the first one? Like, is it like a shadowing kind of thing, or like if we see a good property that we like, would you like come with us to see it? Like, how is it? You know what I mean? Like I know it's like the first one is like the hardest one, and then you'll get used to it. But like that's my issue right now. Like, just to make the first move, to make sure this is a good property, this is the right right offer that I'm putting in, just the whole procedure for the first one.
Cheryl, do you want to answer that, or do you want me to take that on?
You can take it. I'll fill in where I need to.
Okay, so this is my thinking. Cheryl's time is very, very precious and very important, right? So it's impossible for her to go out and help every single one of you. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to have team leads. So she's, the lead of the entire effort, the entire program. We're going to have team leads, right? So for instance, Jim, just or Kevin Rice as an example. He's got more experience, right? He's done more deals than anybody else. So we are also going to designate team leads to help people who have less experience. Does that make sense? Because it's impossible to have Cheryl run to all these properties, especially they're very far away. So we're going to designate also team leads who are under Cheryl's supervision, okay? But you are going to have support. That's what it comes down to. So we're not going to like leave you alone, especially if you're working on a very great lead. We want to make sure we get it on the contract. So we will have somebody assist you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, no problem. So please make sure that you send an email if you want to be part of the team. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I know it took longer than expected. Thank you very much, Cheryl. You were amazing, as always. I appreciate your time.
Hugo,
Yes, yes.
I just want to say thank you to Cheryl. I feel like we're on the line with Michael Jordan of wholesaling. You've made millions of dollars on deals, and you got your first one. You borrowed $1 from the seller, so that's wow. Thank you for sharing your time with us tonight. It's awesome, and Hugo, I look forward to working with you and your team.
And
Yeah,
in this
thank you,
area,
likewise.
you know, the reason why I say that I want that Park Ridge deal, I have a special place in my heart for Park Ridge because that was my first six-figure wholesale deal.
Wow.
Whoa.
So yeah,
Whoa.
I hope it's going to be mine too. Something like that.
What a way to end the night.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Embry, also for joining. Embry is also, by the way, a great photographer. He did amazing pictures. For Halloween, he came over. He took wonderful pictures. He handed out a photo album. Thank you, Embry.
That was just a sample. Wait until I do a better job.
Yeah,
so
no,
is
that
he
was
going to be the one for the disposition side, right? Or even acquisition? Is he going to be the one to take the photos for us?
I'm
absolutely.
open-minded. I'm a team player. I'm here for the team. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
everyone get pictures. Lots of pictures.
perfect. So this is what we're going to do. The next step is please send us an email with all your information, including your mailing address, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to need to have a one-on-one phone call with you to understand your background, right? So we're going to create team leads. If you have a lot of experience, we're going to probably make you a team lead, right? And then we're going to have people working under you so that everyone gets the support that they need. Not only that, but for instance, if we have leads really far away, but we know you live that way, we're going to send them your way. So we want to know where you live or the location where you reside or you wish to work, and all your contact information. And most importantly, we're going to have a one-on-one phone call with you just to better understand your goals and your background, okay? So that we're going to present that to Cheryl, so Cheryl has a really good idea of who the team is. Does that make sense? So our team is going to call you. We're going to do a one-on-one with Phil or Lovely just to get all these initial profiling done for Cheryl. So we're going to present all these to Cheryl. We're going to say we have, let's say, 10 people. Out of these 10 people, 3 are very experienced, 7 are new. So we're going to create a structure, right, of team leads and so forth, so that this is very, very efficient. Also, we want to know your location. That's going to be super important, okay? So we're going to get, go ahead.
There's a couple questions I see. And see, now I'm paying attention to the chat. I wasn't before. I was being bad. But Oscar has a question.
Yes.
That, and then Valerie has one, looks like. So Oscar says, for example, if I find an FSBO, so that's for sale by owner, in the street, and if the owner is there, how do we find out how much to offer to make the deal happen? So Oscar, now I'm looking for your name so I can talk at you, but I don't even see you. Oh, there you are. Hi, Oscar. Okay, so I'm guessing you're in this case you're driving for dollars, or you just happen to be out in the area and there's somebody with a for sale by owner sign. This is what I'm envisioning, and or you're even at like a house like we were and talking outside, and then you see for sale by owner sign and the owner's there. Honestly, this is where I tell you, it is a big mistake to worry about making the offer right then and there. I make offers on the spot all the time, but it's not about the number, I guess is a better way to say it. Yes, I want to make the offer while I'm there because that's just super cool, but it's not about the number. It goes back to seriously just building rapport with them. It will come out. They will tell you what they want, and you have so many other questions that to ask and to understand. And it sounds like, because everybody's very focused on that number, and I get it, you guys, I get it, because you want to know that number, you want to feel comfortable, you don't want to be too high, you don't want to be too low. When in doubt, go too low and insult them. And then you're going to find out real quick what it is. But I like to make them tell me what they want. Because like I said, it's not always the number. And if once you say whatever number, that's what they remember, and it can be a fight after that. So you really got to restrain yourself from the number. And like I said, I would have, looking back on that North Chicago house, I would have never offered 35. But I made $8,000. I don't care that I paid too much. Somebody paid even more stupid money, right? But it worked. So we can't focus on being right on that number. And I say that, and I remember people saying it to me, and I just wanted to smack them. But so I get it, but you just can't worry about it. You have to go with what the seller says and see what they're trying to do. How much are you looking for? Do you know what it's worth? Do you know the last time, when was the last time anything was updated? What kind of work? If I gave you a check for, a blank check right now, how much work do you think it needs, right? Those are the things that then we can work backwards into the number. And I'm getting the feeling, just to ease everybody's anxiety, although frankly, I'm telling you, it'll confuse you all more. But next week for the training, we can work on how to play with numbers. But I'm telling you, that sometimes stresses people out. And then they do the paralysis by analysis. And, Hugo has the numbers. So you guys have it there, but I understand this one's an FSBO, so you don't have the number in front of you, but you also don't have any other information. And if you just drove up, they're going to understand that you got to go back. And what do they always tell you? I know, you got to go crunch your numbers. Yeah, so take your chance to crunch your numbers, but find out everything you need to know so that you can go back and come up with a knowledgeable thing. For me, and I'm not sure this is going to be for everybody right away. For me, I like to give people options. I don't like to throw just one thing at them. I like to give them options. And sometimes I have a blast confusing the seller so that they just have to go with me, and whatever I tell them is right.
Great answer, Cheryl. And just to add on to that, guys, this is what we're gonna make available to you. You're gonna have our support. So all you need to do is send us the address. So when you communicate with the team to support, we're gonna have like a keyword on the subject. You might put sniper and then the subject line, let's say the property address. So you don't even need to crunch number. We're gonna crunch the numbers. We're gonna do that for you, because again, we have full-time people dedicated to analyzing deals. In fact, myself, I do not analyze properties. I just send them an address. I said, Amit, please analyze this deal. And then he's going to give me a full-blown out report which comes everything, right? So that service is going to be available to you, right? So when you are working with a lead, we will crunch the numbers for you, so you don't need to worry about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, right? Okay, there's another question by Valerie. Hugo, is the training only available on the app? No, it's going to be live training once a week, but we're going to post it on the app as well. But it's going to have a lock icon, so it's not available to anybody. It's going to be available to this team, to this group. Okay, we're going to unlock it just for this team. So funny how harder. What else is the question? Also, yes.
So under one of the categories, there's already a wholesale, so it will be a different tab. It won't be that one, correct?
Exactly. We're going to create a new category so that it's only exclusively for Cheryl's team. Okay, so we're going to post the trainings, and they're going to be locked except for you guys. So you're going to be at an elite, right, with Chicago DealVault. All you need to do is send an email with a key, let's say, like sniper on the subject line, and that means that we're going to take action right away, okay? Because we get hundreds of emails on a daily basis that we process. But when an email comes from you guys, we're going to put it at the top. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see all the girl power here. You guys know that like there's like hardly any there's hardly any women in real estate investing. There's a ton that are agents, but hardly any. And although that's one thing that really helps me to stand out, but like I'm excited like looking that's a good percentage.
So Valerie is asking if you need to sign up. Yeah, the only requirement is that you need to have a membership with DealVault, whether it's monthly, yearly, it's up to you. Obviously, yearly, you're going to save 25%. It's up to you. So Phil, can you help Valerie after the webinar to get started, please? And then Phil is also going to join us. He's our backend support on every single webinar. He's awesome. Many of you have interacted with him, so he's also part of the backend team of DealVault. So thank you, Phil, for the awesome work you've done.
Thanks, Hugo. Thanks, everyone, as well.
Okay, so that concludes. So next steps, please send an email. We're going to get in touch with you, and then we're going to do a profiling. In the email, please send us your contact information, where you live, and then we're going to schedule a one-on-one to understand your background and your goals, okay? And we're going to put all that together for Cheryl. So Cheryl is going to determine who's going to be a team lead, who's going to be under a team lead, and so forth, just to maximize our time, right, for everyone. So thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you very much, Cheryl. You were awesome, as always. When you speak, I love it. I love it.
The energy.
Super excited. Super
Thank
excited.
You. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a wonderful
Thank
evening.
you, Cheryl. Thank you, Hugo. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.